Welcome to Global Business. I am your host, Dr. Neva. Today I have with me another doctor, Dr. Corrine. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for being on the program. So I just want to give you a little information about Dr. Corrine and how we met. We basically met through the Chamber of Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce and your extensive background in business, international business. And she spoke at my conference earlier this year, International Women's Day Conference, and she was superb. So, Doctor, please introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. Thank you for the invitation and for having me. Thanks for the compliment. I think all the participants, the attendees, and the other speakers as well did a really awesome job at that conference. So, congratulations and continued success on that. As for me, just in general, I have what I'd like to say I'm a doctor of business. So I'm the first person you'd want to come to before you kind of sort of do anything else. Business advice, strategies, and so on. And kind of help you to get that sort of framework going in terms of where you're looking to go, whether you're looking to start up or you're already in business. So I tend to work with a lot of startups and small businesses. I have some projects that are research-based that are with mid-size or academic institution or research institutions as well. So I do personal professional development. I do, building and growth for businesses and, some research as well.
Excellent. Now, one of the things I know you speak on, which is profitability. Explain what is profitability as it relates to business.
Well, I think in general, most people know they want to make sure that they're profitable. That means your bottom line, you're not in black or you're not whatever color you want to use, red. You want to, want it to be where it's safe and you're able to have the kind of cash flow that you're looking at. What I find is that it's really lacking in terms of key business skills. As business owners or individuals, we think we all know everything, and I think we often, even when we do venture out, we get burned. So, it's 3 strikes you're out, or it's going to be third time is a charm, and if the third time's not a charm, then you go back into that that cubbyhole that you're in and try to figure things out. So profitability is really, it's very unique, and there are different aspects of business that you can look at. And actually, I will have a book launched soon on the key elements of success. What I think that I believe it's very important. It's a guide that whether you're looking to start up or you are an existing small business looking to grow, that you really look at these areas, just make it very simple and straightforward. I use the acronym KISS, C, which is just keep it simple, clean, and clear, and that's it. Profitability is about really taking away the noise and really focusing on what's going to make you get to the results that you're looking for.
Can you please repeat the acronym?
Okay, so it's keep it simple, clean, and clear. So KI, right? S.
Keep it simple.
Clean
and clear.
CCs,
okay.
Right? So instead of everybody say keep it simple, S,
yes, yeah.
I've taken out that. But it's essentially what it is.
Right.
Simple, clean, and clear.
Now, you mentioned that as business owners, we believe we know everything, or we can explain that.
Well, I think when I talk to individuals, whether, again, I do coaching mentorship as well as part of the strategy, and just going and knowing that, your business or what your passion is. If I'm making a product, I really, I know I'm very good at this, but you don't really know all the other pieces. And if we're not going out to be informed, it's hard. A part of that, too, that intimidates is the fact that there's a lot of noise. So it's like, oh, should I chase this shiny thing or should I chase that shiny thing? And we think that we have everything that we need to know, and it's not true. Like when I started our company, I actually went out. I did research. I asked. I knew I was going to jump ship, right? I kind of made that decision. But before I did anything else.
You meant jump ship from what?
Corporate.
Okay.
You leave corporate into starting your own thing. And that there is stories where people are saying, well, it's not going to work, you need to figure this way. So I knew, because I had enough corporate experience where we were doing a lot of these similar things, I had a strong core on the key business skill sets. And that's kind of what profitability is based on. You can't have one without the next. You can't sacrifice on one and expect to really grow or go forward past the next. So when you come into those bottlenecks, that's where, essentially once you keep your business as clean as you can, or as clear in terms of if you're a one-man, one-woman sort of show, you have 2 or 3 or 10 or 50 employees, you can see where how you need to navigate and what you need to do, what's not really working, and what you need to jump on really quick before the ship breaks or the car breaks down or whatever.
Can you take us through some steps for profitability? What are some key steps that you believe, whether it's a small business or a large corporation, that they be able to follow a few steps?
Well, I think what I'm going to share or say, it's not things that's not common knowledge. So, make sure you have like handbooks. Make sure you know that sort of you screen the folks that you're hiring. Make sure you have kind of like a marketing plan and a marketing plan to the marketing plan. Essentially, it's your business guide. It doesn't matter which country you're from or what type of industry you're in. These are simple things. Make sure you have your finance piece in order. That means get the free books or free apps that are there, or go to the free resources, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, you pay a membership, and they have these programs that they're offering you. Take that initiative to really empower yourself to really get you to the next step. And as I said, it's really simple stuff. It's just making sure that from start to the continuity, you have all those pieces in place. I'm going to need to hire. When do I need to hire? How long am I going to hold on to? Oh, no, I'm going to do everything. I don't trust my employees. Why'd you have them there?
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because a conversation that I had the other day with a friend is where, small business owners, we tend to want to do everything on our own because we're scared to spend. And it's normal, yes, because in a sense, you're just starting out, you just don't want to spend everything. And so there are times you have to get help. But when is that time? That's something you have to ask yourself. And if you decide to get help, are you using the person efficiently? So I'm really happy that you mentioned that. So is there a key time when someone should say, yeah, I need to bring on someone now?
The minute you think that you feel that you need to, you're jumping out of your skin, you need help, you know it. You can I'll get through this. This is a busy period, and then, but if so, you have to make that commitment to say, even with the clients I have, okay, so now I'm going to start to look at the admin part of it that's been lacking, because now I have to create another shift cycle so that I can go out and I can do this and that sort of stuff. So once you feel it's already past the time, I think just put that there. But again, if you don't know how to hire, go to the places that will give you insight for that. You're going to have to spend money, and as I go back to the financial part of it, budget for it. Find out when you go networking, everybody does something that you can buy from. What they charge. That gives you and how long do you think, or you're going to need someone. Some folks use things like virtual assistants, and some people are very good. And a lot of times it tend to be in international country because the rates are a little bit more conducive to startup or small businesses and so on. And obviously, your brand is important, so therefore you want to have individuals who are not going to make you lose your customers. That's key. If you lose that customer, it doesn't make sense. Going back to the finance piece of it, adding an additional staff. What are the things that they can take care of day to day that you need to focus on so that you can build and not lose the client? There are lots of little things that are there. And again, these are just day-to-day stuff. We just get overwhelmed. We get excited because it's something we want and we want to go to that next level. But you have to know it's enough is enough, and how much can you take on? No one person is an island, right?
Yeah.
In order to grow, you got to spend. You can't start with zero. We all fail.
You can't start with zero. You sure?
Well, you start with zero, you're going to spend. When you start with zero, is you start off. It's your time. What is it value? It's never zero. And once you start, okay, you did this yourself. You put in whatever your dollar is. You start to spend money. You're gonna have to start to spend money. It's just the way it is. And if you're not very efficient, for example, I might be able to build a website. I learned it in college.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
I'm like, why do I need to do this? One of my very first jobs, I was just chatting, I reminisce about it, that, you know what, I should know every software program, and there is not a computer shouldn't build and not know how to do, to put together or create another one. But again, I'm not going to build that website. Why? My brand is important to me, and the quality work, and so that customers can come. I'm going to pay. I'm going to do my field work to make sure that I also have a reputable company, that I have to worry about, this being compromised, or they're never, they can't update this. Every little thing they're going to nickel and dime and charge me for. So there are lots of little things. You have to spend money. You cannot go anywhere without spending money. I don't know anyone that can, and someone who's, I'm going to say I'm Christian, so yeah, God Almighty, if I may.
Of course you
I don't know where he got his resources from to build everything, but you need to have something.
Yes.
Starting from zero is starting with yourself, an idea, and that idea is worth something. So.
The other day in a conversation, I just want your opinion on this. Someone said to me, Dr. Neva, small business owners or they don't need business development service. They need sales and marketing. And I listened and I said, oh okay. Because I'm a listener. I'll listen to you. That doesn't mean I'm going to act on what you said, but it's important to listen and then analyze. For me, anyway, that works. What are your thoughts on that as far as small business owners? They don't need business development. They need sales and marketing.
Well, it's the same thing when someone says to me, oh, I know I can't afford your services. Or you're out of my league. It's the same thing. It's an excuse. I think you should know what it is that you need for your business to take you to the next level. And I think it's a culmination of all of them. I always need more sales and more marketing insight, because it's knowledge. If you're growing your business and you need to go out, you need to make sure that your employees or whomever it is you're subcontracting to or with have the same sort of mindset of how you're going to improve your process without knowing that. So it's business skills. Business skills are part of business development. If you want to be stuck and you don't have a succession plan, or you don't want to go any further than just sustaining and making X, then that's okay. That's where you want to be. But then you're going to have challenges, because someone else or a couple of someone else are going to come in your space, and they're going to take away, some of that business that you had. And then now you have to start as like, what happened when? You can't really service your customers if you're not looking at that. So I think when you look at business development, it's just overall personal and professional development. It doesn't matter if you're in a, Fortune 500, 50, 100, mid-sized company. It's very, very key. You kind of have to, I think it's act as if to become as if.
Yeah.
You need them. Some people need a little bit more sales and marketing. Yes. So, if that's your focus, then great. But I think the whole thing, especially the finance piece, most of them lose out because they don't get the finance piece right from the very beginning.
Why don't they get the finance piece?
It's hard and it's intimidating. It just is. You're starting with zero. How do you budget for $20,000 for that year that you don't have, whatever the number is? And then that $20,000, because you don't have a plan or anything going, just not an idea, and you're going, whatever your strategies are, it's not laid out. It's it's $100,000, and you find yourself you don't have your home, you lost all your investment. Think about that. It starts with something, and even if you're willing to take that risk, it's one of the things I always talk about, and one of my go-tos is I think it's Erica Jong or something like that. If you don't risk, you risk more if you don't risk anything, right? Essentially, you have to take that risk. If I know, like the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs of the world and whomever else it is, you have to start somewhere, and you keep at it, right? You put everything, research and development. Folks are putting one of the project 30 plus years in the making before the time is now. We couldn't get to where we are till 40 years plus years ago when someone went for it and said, I'm going to, and then one thing to the next to the next, to now we have devices that are user friendly. They weren't. People thought it were just crazy and so on.
So, at the International Women's Day conference, you had fruits out.
I did?
Yes, you had fruits. And I wish I brought them here today or asked you to bring them so that you'll be able to demonstrate. But you use fruit as an analogy for people to get what you're saying. Can you explain some of that?
Oh, I don't know. I think you showcased my fruits and vegetables before I start on my skit, right? I think at that time I was just talking about just looking at diversity. And I think you can look the same thing in terms of business. It's different elements complement each other, talking about profitability differently. How can you make something more unique and uniquely you to be able to brand and step away from the pack, right? So it doesn't matter. It's the same thing you're coming up with. So fruits and vegetables can go together. Some things you'd think like, no way. But you see that they have healthy attributes and more people are going towards that when you can prove something or say something that substantiate something, right? What are you in the market for? What are you looking to buy? It also talks about in terms of people diversity as well. And people diversity is really whether it's cultural, whether it's family, whether it's national, whether it's an ethnicity, whether it's disabilities, difference. That's sort of what it is, and that they can work together and still make something really very unique and very powerful.
Wow. I wish I saw it. I just saw the fruits. I took them up. You said, no, those are my fruits.
I know. I think I had the demons coming out of my eyes at that time, right? I hid them so nicely.
So pretty much we went through basically giving individuals the steps to good profitability. Is there anything else you want to share in relates to profitability that a small business owner would hold on to?
I think essentially you want to really hone in on the skills that you need to develop because you're the soul and lifeline of that organization. So whether it's, stress or you're going through, whether it's, you need to understand how technology is working or how that's going to really be beneficial to you because you're intimidated by it and you don't really want to take that risk because whatever the reasons are, I think self-development is first. It has to be right with you and get your mindset right to where it needs to be. So that's a continuous process for you. And that you're not, running a business is not so much such of a burden or such of a challenge because you have other life issues as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, small business owner that you have to deal with day in, day out.
Thanks for that. Now, I have a question for you.
$1 million question?
It's $1 million question.
Oh boy, I didn't win that lottery thing. Sorry.
Really? So, in being profitable, you have to compromise.
Don't like that word. Don't believe in it. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you don't have to compromise?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Interesting. So, my question to you, I've heard it from a few entrepreneurs that it's very difficult to have a personal relationship such as marriage if you're an entrepreneur, especially when it relates to women.
All right, so I don't know that we have a lot of time to this, so I can put on my psychology hat because a lot of folks think I'm some psychologist or something of the sort. But I don't believe in compromise. I do understand compromise, and I think it's probably misunderstood. It's essentially balance, right? If you really understood what I'm trying to achieve,
Okay.
I do the same when I'm in my corporate roles. Train my employees till they're tired of being trained and they eventually get it. It's not compromise. It's something you have to do. It's like, oh, I didn't know that, this triggered this. Now I want to do it better, right? So it's that, I think, essentially understanding what it is and finding the right people to be in your space. Marriage is not for everyone, It's not a right or wrong. Some last, some don't. It's like they talk about the seasons. I think, again, when I'm talking about the personal and professional development is hone in. Not everybody's going to be like me and to say, okay, this is enough, I can't anymore, and this is what we need to do, and so on, and deal with it. Because they're regrets, they're personal investment, very emotional things that are there. But I think once we hone in on, in terms of emotional intelligence, what are we good at? What are we looking for? Then you find the things that complement them to work. You shouldn't be compromised. I understand you have to sacrifice certain things short term, and that happens all the time. But it's all about balance. If I want to be married, it's tough to juggle both. But that person has to have that understanding. And when you use this word, I hear it, and it's funny, it's true. We have to be equally yoked. And equally yoked doesn't mean necessarily in finances. We have to be equally yoked where our minds are, to know what we need to do to get the rest of the things going. And oftentimes we don't pick people that we're equally yoked with. We go after the glittering things, the fancy stuff. All that glitters isn't gold.
No, it's not. It was a pleasure having you here, Doctor. And just for people to find you, where can they find you?
Well, if you Google, you can go to grahamconsultingresearch.com. We're on Facebook, and you can Google my name. You'll see that I'm, have a couple of things there. We have a telephone number. So it's, Graham, Graham, consultingandresearch.com. And the number, I think, is 631-481-9124. Don't quote me on that one. I don't call my office very often.
We'll put up the number for the audience. Not a problem. I also want to tell individuals about my upcoming conference that I have coming in Kenya, November 11th. I am so excited about this conference.
For you. That's awesome.
And again, we're going to have the International Women's Day Conference. That's next year, March. But a lot of preparation, just putting things out there and making sure that we impact the world, because that's my goal.
Well, keep me posted. Maybe I can drop in Kenya. Hi, Kenya.
Maybe you can. You never know. I am Dr. Neva, your global business developer. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.